After the siege, Terra wore its scars like shackles, craters, prayer plates. At the Eternity Gate, gold-armored watchmen stood unmoving, the first bars of a sanctified cage of state. The Eptiscunes did not merely guard the throne, they enforced distance itself, drawing borders no pilgrim could cross.
Behind sealed doors.
Cleasery sanctified the restriction, calling Terra too holy for unmeasured feet, too sacred for unscreened breath. The Inquisition made secrecy a lattice around Terra, vetting, sequestering, and erasing paths that led too near the throne. So Terra became Erra, the holy world turned prison, a sanctum whose bars were laws, rights, and fear. To approach the throne was to navigate a maze of checkpoints, oaths, and eyes that never blinked. Pilgrims shuffled in chains of parchment, each step weighed by blessings, each breath measured against the law.
It became scripture, a wrong rune, a missing seal, and Terra would not acknowledge you existed.
The black ships threaded the smog, their holds heavy with secrets and knowledge, their vigilance heavier still. Sensoriums sniffed for heresy in the very air, their needles trembling to unseen liturgies and leaks. Even silence hummed with warning, every edge a litany against intrusion, every glance a measured judgment. Confessors taught that closeness to the master of mankind demanded distance from the unworthy, even from oneself. Data paths closed, routes rerouted. Terra's name itself became a lock that opened only to a rosette.
The gate spoke without words. Your life is a petition. Your
icons wore warning cloth, miracles fenced with placards, the sacred made safe by distance and decree. Above, the ring guns idled like sleeping giants, reminder that Terra's silence could erupt into iron at command. Curfews carved time into allowed slivers. The city breathed only when the palace permitted. Policy by decree, destiny by vote. The council's gaze set the boundaries of the Imperium's beating heart. The custodian's patience was a sentence. Wait, kneel, submit, and perhaps be seen, never be known. Seals were not symbols, they were force. A rosette could open Terra or erase a life to keep it closed.
Chant turned curfews into catechism.
Routes to Terra wove through war, warp, and webway. Most were severed, sealed, or marked with skulls. Even rubble was drafted into doctrine, plastered with pleas and permissions no one could read but everyone obeyed. Eyes floated where feet could not, blessing in one lens, report in the other, incense masking ink. Beyond, god machines lay broken, reminders that Terra had survived by narrowing itself to a single purpose. The throne was both beacon and barricade, the Emperor's light trapped behind a billion rules and rifles. Approach lanes stretched for days. A single wrong transponder turned ships into ghosts against the defense lattice.
For the faithful, denial could be a miracle. To be turned away meant Terra remained too holy to touch.
Bodies were processed like petitions. The Medicae recorded, restricted, released, or removed. Each choice another closed door. Shadows did the speaking. A single step from a custodian outweighed a cathedral of words. Most never reached the walls. The denial was the destination, stamped in red before hope learned to walk. Arrivals were never meant to touch soil. Clamps spoke finality. Passages ended in iron and protocol. Information was cataloged, secured, and stored below, shielded from view so the archive could remain pristine. Sound was managed like souls. Pitch by pitch, minute by minute, Terra moved to metronomes of doctrine. Watchfulness narrowed to a point. Terra's gaze became surgical, excising risk before it drew breath. Communications were strangled with courtesy, permissions, codes, blessings, until messages arrived embalmed. Troll routes were pilgrimages of power. With each pass, corridors remembered who owned the air. Confession shifted from mercy to management. Sin was a statistic, access a sacrament dispensed or denied. Metrics replaced miracles. Terra was rationed in minutes, meters, and mines.
When the gates moved, entire calendars rearranged, as if the planet itself breathed in cautious gulps.
The line froze under a raised hand. One command from a warden outweighed countless deliberations. Mission became permanent, burned into flesh. Sanction was both mercy and mark.
Interdictions wrote no names, only consequences. You did not approach Terra. Terra permitted you to arrive.
Text lost consonants to secrecy. Whole lines vanished in the black ink, omissions as choreography.
Light became a weapon of doubt, carving suspicion from smoke, turning breath into evidence.
Relics were wounds that never closed. Terra displayed them as reasons to keep every door locked.
A resting hand held a continent. Authority here did not raise its voice. It narrowed the corridor.
Blessing and barrier wore the same gold. A gesture could open a gate or close a century. Knowledge was locked away with the same fervor as heretics, both dangerous in the wrong hands. Exclusion radii, layered like shells, each labeled with a saint's name and a firing solution.
Even iron remembered last time it moved. Terra preferred not to answer the door.
Movement itself required permission. Even a stretcher stopped to wait for a nod that might never come. Silence pressed like ocean. Terra taught that closeness to the divine could crush those who rushed.
From orbit, entry burns looked like prayers written in fire. Most snuffed before they finished the name.
Day and night parted the planet like a blade. Erra's edge was policy, not sunrise.